You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. Because we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? Bad question, I know. Thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com post-game wrap-up show. Miami Dolphins just lost 33-8 week 1 to the Indianapolis Colts. And honestly, it wasn't even that close. It's lucky it was 33-8. This game could have been 53-8 in all reality. I am your host, Mike Oliva, joined by Tom Ernest. Tom, before we get to the festivities, how you doing, buddy?
Hold on.
For those of you listening, he's taking a drink.
I'm drinking.
Not hard liquor yet, but it might be by the end of the show.
I do have it ready. It's bad, Mike. This is it. I want to save a lot for the actual show. Yeah. I'm doing okay. The wife and kids are doing okay. Other than that, this was a freaking abomination of a football game, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, look, it was bad. We're going to break it all down on today's show, but let's just start the show. Let me get the business aspect out of the way. Today's show is brought to you by Caneswear. Everyone go to the website, caneswear.com, for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. They also have stuff for the Miami Hurricanes, the Miami Marlins, the Miami Heat, and your Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. If you need anything with the Miami Dolphins hat, hoodie, t-shirt, sweatshirt, jersey, go to caneswear.com. They ship internationally as well. And also, if you're in South Florida, stop by their shop, which is really cool, at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. Also, shout out to everyone watching and listening at the I Am a Miami Dolphins Fan Facebook page run by the great and talented Carlos Hernandez. If you haven't signed up for Dolphins Talk Extra, this is probably the year you're going to want to sign up for Dolphins Talk Extra. Here's why. For $3 a month, if you sign up, we have a lot of extra podcasts, some not about the Dolphins, some about college football, sports gambling, Major League Baseball, that stuff. And we also cover reality TV and TV shows, a lot of fun stuff like that. We have a private message board. And we have a ton of contests where we give away cool prizes. If you want to get your mind sometimes off the team, Dolphins Talk Extra, patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube Live, thank you. Smash that like button. Smash it right now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Super chats are open. We're going to have a ton of people. I see we're going to have a ton of people already joining us. If you want your comment right on the screen, leave us a super chat. Much appreciated. We will read them all at the end of the show. We can't stop the show for each one. Leave us a super chat at the end of the show. We will read the super chats. First, let's get to the injuries. The big one, I think, from this game is James Daniels. Questionable if he was going to play with the ankle. He played about 3 or 4 plays, and he had a pectoral injury. He did not return. Pectoral, if that's bad, like really bad, that's probably a season ender. We don't know how bad it is, so I don't want to say for sure, but James Daniels with a pectoral injury, I'm sure we'll know more Monday or Tuesday. Storm Duck, Miami's #1 corner, had an ankle injury. He did not return. Don't know how serious that is. And also late in the game, Benito Jones had an oblique injury. Don't know how serious that is either right now. Those are the 3 big injuries. Hill and Waddle left the game for like a little bit here and there, but they came back. I think they just sort of just took a big hit type of deal. They seem fine. All right, Tom, the floor is yours.
They talk, we do. Remember that? Remember that saying?
I remember that.
This summer, they talk, we do. What did we do? Let's talk about what we did. First and foremost, and I'm going to start at the top. I'm not going to wait to say anything about this. Tua sucked beyond any thought or comprehension I could have imagined against the Indianapolis Colts. It was next level bad. It was like watching him play against the Buffalo Bills week 2 last year. That level bad. The first interception was an absolute overthrow. I get it. Those can happen. Typically does not happen for him very often. 2 plays later, he's holding the ball out like a loaf of bread and fumbles it, giving the Colts another possession. And then the opening drive of the second half, the interception he threw, the man has got to be freaking colorblind because he threw it right to Latu. Like, all right, I'll digress for a second. The offensive line is not fixed. It's still an abomination. James Daniels getting hurt is par for the course for the general manager bringing in all these freaking injured players. I like James Daniels, by the way. I hope he's okay. From a defensive standpoint, all right, because we're gonna get into all of this throughout the show. But let me just put it this way. For the Anthony Weaver next head coach crowd, it's a bad day for you too. I don't know what kind of game plan he had against Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen, but he better get back to the drawing board because what was put on tape today is atrocious. And also a tip of the cap to the man running the team, Chris Greer, once again, for putting together such a great secondary. Jack Jones looked lost. Storm Duck, he is what he is. Undrafted player, and you got him as your cornerback one. Joke. Minka Fitzpatrick, didn't really hear his name called too much today. Special teams we can't really talk about because they really didn't see much other than Jake Bailey. Whatever. It's fantastic. This is the beginning of a season that can go off the rails extremely quick. Shout out to Aaron the Brain also by picking the Colts this year.
You guys talked me out of it.
We did a great job doing that. So you're welcome. The last thing I'll say is the next 3 weeks are Patriots, Bills on Thursday night, and the Jets at home. The Dolphins are 0-1 in the AFC. If they lose 2 out of the 3 against your division opponents, folks, we might have Mike McDaniel fired really damn quick this year. And I don't think it's going to wait till the bye week. This team sucked. I don't see how it's going to get much better based on what they put on paper today. And I don't want to hear it's just week 1. This is year 6 for the quarterback. This is year 4 for the head coach. And you had a month and a half to prepare for your opponent. And this is how prepared they were. Shame on Mike McDaniel. Shame on Tua Tagovailoa. Shame on Anthony Weaver and the man upstairs. If I am Stephen Ross, he may not care very much.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. But he better start caring because next week, if the stadium isn't packed up with Dolphins fans, that's how you get his attention if the money's not flowing in. That's all I got to say right now.
Yeah, and the only way it makes sense to fire Mike McDaniel in season is if you fire Chris Greer at the same time. Because if you're going to not fire Greer and even wait till the end of the year to fire him, it just shows what a cluster you got. Just fire them both at the same time. I don't think they'll do it. Here are my thoughts. And I want to take a step back before I talk about the actual game. Because there's a big picture story here that's out there. If you're a fan of the Dolphins, if you listen to podcasts like this, if you are the least bit surprised by this outcome today or didn't think this outcome was possible, you consume your media, news, and you're listening to the wrong podcast all season. I know we here at DolphinsTalk.com don't often spray sunshine and rainbows often, but we also don't lie to our audience either. And this offseason, we have warned you, Josh, myself, Tom, Aaron, everyone, that this might happen. And, you know, we are diehard fans of the Miami Dolphins, and we keep it honest 100% of the time, whether it's good or bad. This roster was built completely wrong this offseason. We told you numerous times, and we rang the alarm bell. If you choose to listen, great. If you didn't, or you just call us names, that's on you. If you want to be lied to, there's podcasts out there who will lie to you all offseason and tell you everything's fine, everything's great, don't worry, we're going to win 10 or 11 games, don't worry. When the flaws and warts are just so painfully obvious. Where a game like today, maybe we didn't expect to lose 33-8, but it wasn't like out of the realm of like this might happen. And this game, in a nutshell, is everything wrong with this organization. Chris Greer built a roster with many flaws. Mike McDaniel is really bad at his job. And enough with Tua's him. Tua ain't him. Tua's never been him. Tua's an ordinary quarterback. And the whole concept of if Tua stays healthy, he's like a top 10 quarterback. Never has been, never will be. He's just very average. Okay? And if some of you, it might have taken some of you to year 6 to realize this, where some of us are on this year 2 or 3, open your eyes, folks, live in reality. Don't create a false reality where you're lying to yourself or you're listening to other podcasts and shows that lie to you to tell you what you want to hear so you can sleep well at night knowing that your football team really ain't that bad, when in reality, it's very bad. Look, here's the long and short of it. As long as Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, and Tua are here, this team has a very low ceiling, and they ain't winning nothing of any significance. They might go out next week and beat the Patriots at home, and that's great. But there better not be an I told you so crowd. You all just overreacted the week. No. Because then the next week you go to Buffalo, and they're going to get their asses kicked again. And then they're probably going to lose to a team like the Jets, who for somehow put up 32 points today. Win or lose, they're still playing. I don't know. They got 32 points. We had 100 yards of total offense through the third quarter. I mean, this was embarrassing. No more Mike McDaniel's an offensive genius. He ain't. He's, the one time he had a chance to win the challenge, he didn't throw the flag at the end of the game. He could have actually padded his record there. Didn't do it. This organization, and it's not just one game, like Tom said. We're not overreacting to one game. This is a continuation of Mike McDaniel's 4 years here, where he has gotten progressively worse year after year after year. Where was this great pass rush we heard about all offseason? The Colts offensive line blocked it with ease. And by the fact that they blocked it with ease, just exposed the secondary for what it is. Bad. They need a total house cleaning in Miami. They need a new vision from someone in charge. If it happens, I have no idea. Any other owner, this would happen. I mean, not now, week 1, but at some point after this year, it would happen. Because, folks, they're not turning this around to the point of they're going to make a playoff run. Yeah, they might win 6, 7, 8 games. They could even, pull out a miracle, go 9-8. They're not winning playoff games this year. This team's not built for a successful season. It's week 1. They had guys laying down. There's so many guys hurt. And who knows how bad it is with some of these guys like James Daniels and Storm Duck. We're sitting here, and Tom, what did I say back in March? Why are we re-signing Liam Eichenberg? Because the first time someone gets down, he's back to a starter. What did everyone say? Oh, he's just a backup. Don't worry. He's a good backup, though. Don't worry. He's not a good backup because you're one injury away from him starting. And if James Daniel tore his pec, which again, we don't know, but if his season's over, they're counting down the days for Liam to come back, and they're going to throw him, and he's going to start the rest of the year whenever he comes back. So, this roster was built wrong back in March and April. The head coach is just bad, and the quarterback's average and ordinary. And if people can't accept that yet, they just got their head so far up his ass, they just don't see reality. And today, I'm just waiting for the Tyreek Hill meltdown. I'm waiting for the quotes to come out here. Hey, look at that. The Pittsburgh Steelers score, but they're not going to cover. So I'm going to get screwed there too. What a day to be a Dolphins fan. What a day.
You know what else you said back in March, Mike? If Liam Eichenberg is,
I know.
I won't finish it, but that's good. Yeah. That's good banter for us when we get off air.
Yeah. Austin Jackson, he got a toe injury at the end of the game as well. So throw that onto the list.
Oh, good. Well, he already had a toe injury. So.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It would be so Dolphins. It would be the same old Dolphins, and give a shout out to Josh and Aaron for their great show here on Dolphins Talk Network. It would be same old Dolphins, Mike, if they did find a way, like you said, to get to 7, 8, or 9 wins with how things may or could transpose this season with especially the way this game went today. If this is a indicator of potentially what this team is going to look like down the road, and yeah, again, they are going to win football games this year. At least I hope they will. But if this is a indicator of what things are going to look like with Tua being inaccurate, making bad decisions, the defense not getting any pass rushing home without sending a blitz. This is going to be a very long season. And, at the end of last year, Stephen Ross put out his statement after the season ended saying, we're going to move forward with Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer. We're going to find, the deficiencies on this football team, and we're going to improve.
Tom, he didn't write the statement. He just that statement was written for him.
It was written for him, 100%. Yes, it was. But at the same time, his name is on it, right? Just like his name is on the facility. He is the owner of the football team. At some point, he's got to take responsibility for how this thing has been put together. And if he doesn't, at any point, I'm hopeful that the Dolphins can find a way to be like 3-3, 4-2 after the first 6 games, right? I'm very, very hopeful. And I am always the optimistic fan. Between Mike and myself, I'm always more of the optimistic fan. But there comes a point in your fandom that you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, what the hell am I being sold? And why do I keep buying into the nonsense? They talk, we do. It's the polar opposite. It's the polar opposite. The Miami Dolphins don't do enough. They talk. They give the lip service. You're more worried about the offensive line than we are. You're more worried about the defensive backfield than we are. You're more worried about tight end than we are. This roster construction is a mess. They went into this game with one backup offensive guard, which they needed. Keon Smith was needed. And if anything were to happen anywhere across the board, you're going to have Larry Borum potentially play guard, right? It's the roster construction is so bad. And it just, the warts showed in week 1. Now, do they have time to correct it? Yes, they have time to correct it. But will they correct it is the problem. Tyreek Hill last year quit on the football team. Flat out quit. Today, visibly frustrated. How soon do they pull the plug? They got to win.
That's not going to happen until October.
Listen,
that's not going to happen.
Correct. It won't be until October. But look, we're going into week 2. Mike, is week 2 an absolute must-win for the Miami Dolphins?
Look, they're all must-wins, yes. But here's the deal. This team's going to get booed at home week. I mean, think about this. How many teams, all joking aside, let's be dead serious. Even the Cleveland Browns got cheered today at home, and they almost won. They only lost by a point to Cincinnati when no one gave them a chance. Joe Flacco was like freaking older than dirt. Like, everyone gets cheered home run at week 1 at your home opener. Next week in Miami, they're going to get booed. Like read the tea leaves, folks. They're going to get booed at their home opener, and it's not going to be pretty if they fall behind to the Patriots, who, by the way, every time Mike Vrabel comes to Hard Rock Stadium, he kicks Mike McDaniel's ass. They're going to get booed next week at home. And FYI today, Jonnu Smith caught a touchdown for Pittsburgh, and Ramsey just made the final play to clinch a win for the Pittsburgh Steelers too. But, I mean, folks, the problem is you have a GM who's really bad. You have a head coach who's not a head coach, and the guys ran from this place. They didn't want to play for him. I know for John, it was about the money, but again, if you're Chris Greer, it wasn't like the guy was asking for a ton, like pay him. Like, seriously, give him a 1 or 2 year extension and actually freaking pay him, especially the year he's coming off of. They should have done that. And the Ramsey thing is because, they don't, Mike McDaniel ain't for everybody. And as a head coach, you got to be for everybody. You just can't have a roster filled of nice guys who all get along. Let's go out and play paintball together. Let's do some more, Pilates together. That didn't really seem to work today. I mean, it's all lip service what they sell fans. And again, if you're surprised by this outcome, or if you didn't think this was even possible, not even on your radar, that they might lose big, how do you consume your news? How do you consume your media? Who do you listen to? Pretty much who lied to you the last 6 months? Because I know we did it, and I'll sleep well tonight knowing I don't lie to our audience. I might not be the most popular. I might not get the most likes, but I'm not lying to anybody. If you want to listen to people who lie to you and tell you the Dolphins aren't that bad, why do you guys all think this is going to be a bad season? folks, they might be worse than some of us thought. And I didn't think they were that good to begin with. They actually might be worse. They can't stop anybody on defense. You don't have corners who belong in the NFL. And the one you had, Storm Duck, is now hurt. Again, if the Miami Dolphins cut every corner on the roster, how many are having a waiver claim put in on them? The answer is 0. Maybe Storm Duck gets 1 waiver claim or 2. Jason Marshall, because he's a rookie, someone take a. But other than that, no one's putting in waiver claims on Jack Jones or Rasul Douglas or Ethan Bonner or any other. Nobody put it. They're not any good. They don't belong in the league. We're dependent on these guys. It's safety. It's the same thing outside of Minka. I mean, Ashton Davis ain't no good. Melifonu's always hurt. It's like they don't have the talent to win this year, okay? And they made Daniel Jones, who all Dolphins fans shit on for an entire offseason and laughed at, look like prime Peyton Manning, which, Tom, correct me. Did I not say every quarterback, bad one we play this year, is going to have their best day against the Dolphins this season? Because I did, and I'm 1 for 1.
Yep.
And when we play Michael Penix, when we play Joe Flacco, when we play the rest of the Saints, whoever they tried out there, they're going to have their best game of the year versus our secondary. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
He is our Mike is our Paul Heyman. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, it's just we're all fans. And I get, and Tom gets, and none of us get any joy in saying bad things about our team. I know there are going to be people say, I turned the show off. You guys are too negative. What do you want? It's 33-8. We had 100 yards of offense through 3 quarters. Tell me the positive. I'm supposed to sit here today and tell you. Again, we don't lie to our audience. If you want to be lied to, there's a lot of podcasts out there who will lie to you. We don't.
You know, I guess if we're gonna have a like small little positive is that at least Devon Achane's here, right?
Devon Achane.
They didn't use him much.
He's one of 2 players that showed up today. I don't even want to mention the other because when we do the game balls, one of us will take one and one of us will take the other. There's nobody else worth mentioning. Only 2 guys showed up today that are worthy of a game ball. But I guess, look, we're 22 minutes in. We're not going to do a big rundown of this game because what the hell are we running down? Yep. But should we do any run? I don't even know if we should. I guess we got to do a little rundown of the game.
Honestly, I don't know. There's not much.
Let's go over the team stats. Let's just go to the stats because what play-by-play are we going to do?
All right.
There was none.
We don't want to do much play-by-play stuff.
No.
The only highlight from a play-by-play perspective in the positive was, a swing pass on 4th and goal that Devon Achane turned nothing into a touchdown, right?
Here's a positive from our chat.
That's the positive right there.
No. Here's a positive from our chat from longtime listener Kevin Miller. The beating is over now. That's the only positive. Kevin, you nailed it right. It's over.
Salute. That was
dilly.
That is very good. Good way to put it. All right, for the team stats in this game, after the abomination 33-8 loss for the Dolphins, the Colts had 27 first downs. Dolphins had a total of 12. The Colts were 7 for 15 on 3rd down, and the Dolphins were 5 for 10. Colts 3 for 3 on 4th down. Masterclass from Anthony Weaver's defense. 1 for 2 for the Dolphins. Colts ran 70 plays. 7-0. Dolphins ran 46. Total yards, 418 for the Colts, 211 for the Miami Dolphins. Before this game even started, Mike, you would think blindly going into this, the stats should be flipped, right? The way that the Dolphins are set up offensively with the type of talent they have, they only put up 211 yards. 6 yards per play for the Colts, 4.6 for the Dolphins. Passing, Danny Dimes, 22 of 29 at 8.7 yards per pass. No turnovers, was only sacked once. The Dolphins quarterbacks combined 19 for 31, 133 yards, averaging an abysmal 3.9 yards per pass. 2 interceptions thrown, both by Tua Tagovailoa, and 3 sacks for a total loss of 13 yards. I'm not done. The Colts 156 yards on the ground at 3.9 yards per carry. Well, I guess they kept them under 4. So, hey, win on 40 rushing attempts. The game got away from Miami early. They only had 12 rushing attempts for 78 yards, averaged 6.5 yards per rush. The red zone. Colts were 3 for 6. Dolphins were 1 for 1. Hey, positive, 100% red zone. They're going to be number 1 in the NFL.
He's got to make it there.
Penalties, 4 for 45, 3 for 15 for Miami. Miami had 3 total turnovers, and I believe that resulted in 17 Colt points, if I'm not mistaken. Time of possession, 38-43 for Indianapolis, 21-17 for the Miami Dolphins. Jim Irsay is smiling ear to ear right now, Mike. This is the type of game that you talked about for weeks leading up to this game, is that the Colts were going to put on a show because it was Jim Irsay Day. They wanted to play hard and they wanted to do well, and they came out and they did exactly what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was a tough atmosphere. It was going to be a tough atmosphere today, and it was. So I'm not really surprised by that. I just, again, I want to emphasize this. It's not that they lost. There's no shame losing on the road in the NFL because we're not the best team. We have warts. We have flaws. So losing at the Colts, if they would have lost 27-24, 27-20, 17-10, you go, okay, it's not great, but they were in the game. They put up a fight, whatever. Then we talk about football. When you lose 33-8, and again, it wasn't even that close at 30. This game was over at the end of the first quarter, essentially. When you lose 33-8, there's bigger issues here. There's bigger issues. It's not about, what he called on 3rd and 5 in the second quarter. That's secondary. There's bigger issues at play with leadership from the top owner down. I mean, it's like, look, no one's saying everyone should be fired week 1. That's ridiculous. We know that. But the leash should be short. And and all the fans, first off, here's something else too. Fans of Dolphins, if you're one of those people who loves to attack the national media, Stephen A. Smith, Colin Cowherd, all these people who always say, I don't know about the Dolphins, it might not be so good this year. You owe them all an apology, okay? Because enough attacking the national media. They're right. You're wrong. All right? At some point, you have to say, you know what? I might have been wrong about this team. You guys might be right. Maybe don't attack them. Okay? Maybe say, you know what? Actually, maybe listen to these guys. They might actually have a pulse on the team better than me. That's number 1. Number 2, and I forgot number 2 already, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just this team. No, here it is. If they fire him in season, McDaniel, which I'm also at the point too, is firing him in season is like letting him off the hook. Let him suffer for 17 more of these or 16 more of these. Let him take. People are like to say, take him out of the game too. What's the point? No, he's part of the mess. He should go out there and suffer with the rest of them. Why should he get to go on the sideline, put on a hat, and sip some whatever he's drinking over there? No, put him on the field, make him suffer like the rest of us. That's the only thing with firing McDaniel in season. But if they do fire him in season, fire Greer the same day. You cannot do one, not the other. You cannot fire one now, then I'll wait to fire Greer at the end of the season. Fire them at the same time. Because that's the only thing that's going to win your fan base back at this point. Because again, next Sunday, Hard Rock Stadium, you're going to have an angry fan base show up. Yeah, you'll have the blind homers who are going to cheer no matter what the F happens. Those people are always going to be there. But the majority of fans, that first 3 and out, going to be ugly.
Especially if it's the first drive. I mean, if they go 3 and out and they're up 10-0 in the first quarter, all right, a little grace. But if they go 3 and out on their first drive, or if they have a turnover, or they let the Patriots just march right down the field and score a touchdown on their opening drive, oh yeah, it's going to be tough sledding for the team. Stephen Ross will be in attendance. You better believe it. And if he's seeing empty seats, he's hearing the Boo Birds early, he may not have a choice on what to do. Sometimes it comes from the national media. Sometimes it comes from really from the fan base.
Yes, and I think, and there's, I know fans like to crap on our local media, which I always say is uncalled for. We have, fans sometimes just don't see it. We actually have very good local media at all 3 newspapers who cover this team. Hyde has been very critical of this team Jackson at the Miami Herald has been very critical of this team. There's a lot of people who have asked a lot of questions who've been very critical of this team. They're going to bring the heat too. They're going to bring the pressure too. They're not going to pull it. They have all off season. Like this isn't normal. As I always say, and I said it on Friday with Doug, fans of the Dolphins normalize the not normal. A lot of this stuff that we do is just not normal. It's like, and they make excuses and spin it and all this stuff. It's like the whole thing with Jonnu Smith. They knew pre-draft he wanted to get paid. Why didn't they trade him prior to the draft, get picks in last year's draft to help them? No, we drag it out. It's just whatever. We're in a reset. So maybe we shouldn't be shocked. He admitted it. Yep. We did. I know it's not the end of the show, but this is going to be a short show because there ain't much more to talk about. We did have a super chat. I want to read it. Let me see here. Back a few minutes ago. Let me get to it real quick. Where was it? Not great radio. Oh, here it is. Fish Pilot. All those who said Tua deserved the extension, good call. He's not even a top 20 quarterback. Tough to argue that today. Fish Pilot. You know what? You're probably right. Right.
I'm in the crowd. Look, I'm in the crowd.
When they clean house, it probably after this year, he'll be gone too. I don't care because no new head coach is going. Any new head coach, that's going to be the number one condition. First off, Tua's had two head coaches, Flores and McDaniel. They ain't getting a third. If you got two of them fired, you ain't get no third one's going to be like, sure, I'll stick with him. He gone. I don't care what the cap hit is. They'll be like, you know what? Now you're in a real reset. He'll be gone. So this might be his swan song if they have a really bad year. Like, it's tough to think that might not be possible after today, but they might have a really bad year. So it's just very disappointing because I know, again, as fans of this team, Tom and myself are fans of this team. I know, and so everyone else, diehard fans. We wouldn't do this if we weren't. You wait all year for week 1 of the NFL season, and this is what you get served. I wrote an article Thursday, I think, up on the website. Read it. The Dolphins fan base deserves better. They've done their part for 20 plus years. They show up, they buy the merch. As much as fans complain about the merch, they buy the merch. You can't get season tickets right now there's a waiting list. No matter how bad it's been, no matter how many playoff wins, there's a waiting list for season tickets. The secondary market, the prices are through the roof because they know fans will spend it and buy it. Dolphins fans deserve better. They've done their part. When will the organization do their part? A sports team is a public trust between the fan base and the city. Yes, there's an owner, but owners aren't there forever. Teams will eventually change hands at some point because there's a trust between the city and the fans. The fans, okay, we'll buy the merch. We'll show up and we'll support the team. We'll go to the games. We'll cheer the team on. That's doing their part. Dolphins fans done their part for 20 years. The organization has failed this fan base for 20 years. No one's saying they got to win the Super Bowl every year. I'm not even saying they got to win the Super Bowl at all. I'm just saying, can you win an AFC East every once in a while? Can you win a playoff game every once in a while? I'm not even saying every year. Just like maybe every 5 or 6 years. That's fair. We can't even do that. We can't. So the fan base, who I feel for this fan base, because like I said, I think this fan base is lied to a lot by a lot of bad faith actors who pump positivity and pump crap through their podcasts and lie to the fan base and tell them everything's great all the time. And the fan base wants to believe and they eat it up. When, there's a reality out there that, many of us saw something like this, not this bad, like this coming. And it's like, I wish you guys, I'm sorry that you're hurt today. I am, because I feel like if you consumed a different media, you might have been somewhat prepared for this.
Yeah. We spent an entire offseason mentally thinking about it, mentally preparing for it, as much as I didn't want to believe it. Part of me, and I had them going 8-9 in our season prediction. So I'm a little bit more on the pessimistic side than I have been in years past. But something has dramatically changed. Like the first 2 years of the Mike McDaniel era were good, right? I mean, I'm not wrong for saying his first 2 years were good, and you could see the uplift and trajectory of the franchise in his first 2 years here. but he is stubborn. He doesn't change how the offense is being played. The Colts played too high shell all game. The Dolphins couldn't do shit with that. Nothing. Like, what are you putting out there? What are you coaching this team? What are you putting on paper each and every day to not be the same offense? You have to change it. You have to change the way you're doing things. Okay, great. Today I saw far less pre-snap motion than I have in years past. But I also still see the same shit from the offensive line. I see the same mistakes the quarterback shouldn't be making in year 6. Something has to change. And if it's the same thing and it's the same constant over and over again, the owner has to do his part to give the fans what they pay for. We pay for this. We pay these players with our hard-earned money, buying tickets and merch, which, by the way, this week is the launch of those
September 10th rivalry jerseys. And they're going to sell like hotcakes because
they're 100% going to still sell out, and I'm going to be a schmuck that buys the shit.
There you go, Schmuck Tom.
I'm Schmuck Tom. I'm going to put that on the back of the jersey I buy, Mike.
Schmuck number 1.
There we go. There we go. I'm fully on board for this. But it's frustrating, and I know, we have a lot of people watching. We're going to have quite a few of you listening to this after we go off the air. I just want to tell you this, and we've said it before. If you want to make a statement, stop spending the money on the team. Once the dollars stop rolling in, the owner goes, I'm not making money. It's time to make changes.
Yeah, and it's
the
also
Dolphins have time to fix this. They have time to fix this. But if they go in, we're going down week 6, Mike. If this team is 1-4 going into that game against the Chargers, who look fantastic Friday against the Chiefs.
Look at a real head coach.
If they're at that point, we could be there for the firing and changes. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. If you get rid of the coach, you get rid of the general manager at the same time. You don't give him another chance to try to do whatever he says he's going to do, which is fix things. He doesn't fix shit.
So here's the problem.
He's the constant for 25 years. I know. He's the constant.
Yes. And specifically the constant since 2016. People say, well, technically Mike Tannenbaum. No. If your business card says general manager, you don't get to point the finger. You are the general manager, period. And here's the deal. Fix this. I don't know what that means, fix it this year, because you can't fix the secondary. If guys can't play, people can't play. That secondary, and it's not their fault. They shouldn't be put in this position. So I don't want to pick on Jack Jones. I don't want to pick on these guys. They shouldn't be starting in this league. It's not technically their fault. It's the general manager's fault for putting them in that type of position. That's number 1. They can't fix it. And when your hope on the O-line is, when does Liam Eichenberg come back? It's over, folks. God bless some of you.
When is Liam Eichenberg back?
God bless some of you who are still pushing this narrative. Liam's a great backup. No, he ain't. He ain't a great backup. You know why? Because when he's on the field playing, we've seen for 4 years this guy ain't great at anything. So he's not a great backup. He's great at
falling down within 1 second of a snap.
Now, here's how bad it is. And today, I got this in the mail yesterday, but I didn't see it till today because I was out of the house. Our Big E Strong bracelets, which I wore all day today. We're thinking about Big E. Things are bad. Now, nobody is more positive than our friend Big E Ian Berger. I love the guy. I love him like an older brother. I love him. I hope he beats this. He's fighting hard. I know he's stuck up in Philadelphia. It's going to kill him next week not to be at the first home game. We love you, Big E. When you've annoyed Big E to the point where he put up this tweet after the game, things are bad. Big E, total failure by the Miami Dolphins from the general manager to almost every player on the field. As mentioned on the broadcast, the season's not won or lost to one game, but how do you fix this? You know what? It is a total failure. from the general manager down, and it is everyone on the field, including the quarterback. I saw some today still trying to spin this. Well, it ain't the offensive line's fault, guys, okay? It ain't the offensive line's fault. Yes, they suck too, but so did the quarterback. Unfortunately, there's no fixing this. This team is what this team is. They had chances in March and April. Question, Tom. If the plan all along was to restructure and extend Zach Sealer, why wait till effing August to do it? And why not do it in March when you can get money to spend under the cap? Oh, because we're run by a clueless person.
Very clueless.
And I know it's a financial reset, but again, I'm not saying they needed to restructure him and go out there and buy a $30 million cornerback. Could you have gotten a $5 million cornerback, maybe with a little bit of a resume, who wouldn't be an embarrassment on the field as a starting cornerback one? Yeah, they could have done that. They chose not to.
Yep.
They chose not to. That's why McDaniel and Greer get no sympathy from people like me and many, because these are all choices they make. It's not like, couldn't see that coming. No. Sign injured player gets hurt, or sign injury-prone player gets hurt. Not a surprise. You can't say, didn't see that coming. We only sign injury-prone players. Malafanu, just waiting for that one. James Daniels, we signed so many. We draft injury-prone players. It's frustrating. I get the frustration, Dolphins fan. Trust me, we're all in this together. We are all in this together. But at some point, you got it here. We got Biggie, Martini Jack, Biggie nailed it. He did nail it. I mean, when you got Ian Berger frustrated to the point that he's like, what the hell's going on here? You just know it's bad. Yeah. So I don't know. It's unfortunate. I don't know how much more there is to say about this game. We got New England next week. Did they end up winning today? Because I turned everything off. They lost. I'm actually not. I almost wanted to take the Raiders. I didn't though. What else happened today? Jaguars. They won. They're up 23. San Francisco's up early 7-0. At the time we're recording this, Tampa Bay won 23-20. I think the Browns missed a field goal late. And that's why they lost 17-16. Like all these teams even like the Saints, they put up a fight. They lost 20-13. The Jets look really good in a loss. Pittsburgh's on our schedule. I mean, that's why I said, if you're a fan of the Dolphins, this ain't the year to look at the schedule and be like, oh, that's a win. Oh, that's a loss. Oh, that's a win. Every game's going to be a roller coaster. I would not be shocked if next week, if Miami comes out and scores 28 points and wins like 28-10. Would not be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked at all. But if they go out there and lose, 17-6, I wouldn't be shocked either. I have no earthly idea what this team is going to do week to week, because I don't think you can depend on the secondary, the offensive line, the quarterback, and the head coach week to week. So it's going to make for an interesting season, but probably a very frustrating one. And let's hope there's more competitive games than what we saw today. And there does come a point, though. There does come a point.
Yeah.
And it'll be here quick. Mid to late October. If you're out of it, you look at that roster. Chubb, tradable asset. Phillips, tradable asset. Hill, tradable asset. And you start looking at next April's draft. And if Chris Greer doesn't want to do it, then you put someone in there who will do it.
I agree. If the season's off the rails, you do have viable pieces that you can acquire draft picks and decent draft picks. Decent draft picks at that, right? Jalen Phillips is a young player. Granted, he's got the injury history. He could fetch you a 4th, 5th round pick, most likely.
Well, he can probably fetch you a 3rd if it's a contender who wants
yes.
Who wants to actually pay him and keep him too.
Tyreek Hill will pull you probably mid to late round picks, maybe in back-to-back years.
You'll probably get a 3rd round pick for Hill, as long as he doesn't get in any trouble off the field between now and then. Probably get a 3rd for Hill, honestly. Probably get a 3rd.
Well, and for Bradley Chubb with his contract,
it's probably a 5th or 6th, yeah, but I don't know how much he's got
probably get a 5th, 6th round pick for him. So
yeah,
there is a ton of opportunity to turn this around. We know that. Ton of opportunity. But the clock is already ticking. If you folks are not fans of The Bear or the show The Bear on FX, for the beginning of this season, they put a clock out and says, this is how much time you have. It's hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. It's right there for them to perform and to do well, to keep it in business. The Dolphins better put one in their locker room right now because the time is ticking.
Tom, we forgot to give out our game balls, which are brought to you by MyBookie. Hey, I got a sponsor for it this year, so I got to do it. MyBookie.com. Use the promo code Dolphins. Your first bet up to $500 is fully covered as long as you use the bet back bonus. So you can bet college football, NFL football, U.S. Open tennis, WNBA, UFC, boxing, you name it. Here's why. Even if you just want to place one bet, go to MyBookie.com, promo code Dolphins, place your bet, and the first bet up to $500. If you lose, it's fully covered as long as you're using the bet back bonus token. Don't forget that, the bet back bonus token. Promo code Dolphins at MyBookie.com. I had a good week yesterday. I had a little two-team parlay with USC minus 28.5 and Illinois laying 2.5. And I had a second one where SMU absolutely destroyed me. Gave up a touchdown with 30 seconds left, and then it went to overtime where they missed a field goal. They were only late. They had to lead the whole day, or else I would have hit another two-teamer. And then today, the Jets killed me today because I had Pittsburgh minus 3, and they only won by 1, I think, or 2, whatever. Yeah. Now, I got to make sure I get my bet here. I'm hoping it's not too late for the Broncos. Let me go to mybookie.com here. Make sure, because I'm sure it hasn't let me see here. I'm going to do this live on the air to promote mybookie.com. I'm placing the bet in real time. How about that? They'll be proud. How come? Come on, guys. Let me sign in because I know the game started. All right, maybe it won't be live on air because my cell phone's not working right now. I know why, because I'm wearing this headset, so we can't visually. All right, I'll do it right after we're done because we're pretty much done. Yeah, next week, Patriots Dolphins, 1:00 Hard Rock Stadium. That ought to be interesting. The media session after the game, I wasn't even monitoring Twitter to see what was said. Was anything said?
I wasn't paying attention myself to that.
Who's at the game? I know Furonis was at the game. Let me see what Furonis had, if he had any good quotes. He doesn't know how severe the injuries are to Storm Duck or James Daniels. Not surprised by there. Mike McDaniel on the start of the season in which he already entered under pressure. I don't see the job void of pressure. I don't see the job as one of entitlement. Well, that's good. You got the right attitude there. Let's see who else was there. I think Perkins was there too. Let me see what he has. David Hyde, he has a column. Tua's worst day, the first half a disaster, 10 thoughts on the Dolphins opening mess. I will be reading that after the game. David Hyde's the best. He really is. Love David Hyde. So, yeah, I'm sure Hill said something. Josh and Aaron will have it on tomorrow's show. But, yeah, guys, thanks for joining us right after the game. Wish we could talk about something more fun or better news. But Dolphins lose 33-8 to the Colts. This is the first post-game wrap-up show. No matter how bad it gets, we're going to be here after every game. You know why? Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah, so we'll be back. Josh and Aaron Monday. Tuesday, myself and Josh Moser. Wednesday, myself and Tom again. And make sure you're following us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok as well at Dolphins Talk. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so when a new show drops, you are notified. If you missed our pregame show today with Eric and Robert Burns, I got nothing but 100% rave reviews. So that's going to drop probably starting Saturday nights now, moving forward. So there's more time for people to consume it. So Saturday night, Sunday morning to get you ready for the game. Eric and Robert Burns did an outstanding job with our pregame show. So check it out each and every week there. Marissa Marino has interviews lined up. Those are going to drop every Saturday morning with a national reporter or someone who covers the team we're playing. It might be a mix. Some weeks might be a national reporter. Some weeks might be someone with a team we're playing. So make sure you check that on Saturdays as well. As always, we thank you for your support. We do not take it for granted. We know it hasn't been easy being a fan of this team. We really do appreciate your support. Stick with us. Even if the season's a long one, even if it's not great, we're going to have some laughs and fun along the way. I promise, and I promise we will never lie to you. We will never lie to you. We will always keep it honest. Everyone, have a great rest of your Sunday night, and we'll talk to you again after a while. And folks, even when you're on the road driving home or driving wherever please make sure we put an end to the highway profanity. Don't take out your anger at the Dolphins on other drivers on the road.
Fins up, I guess.